Hi, today we're going to be comparing these two stick vacuums from Dibea. This is the F6 and the C17, both from Dibea, both Dyson clones that use a trigger mechanism. We're going to be looking at the features, tools, and a cleaning's performance test in a bit. So to start off, we're going to be looking at its main feature, which is the motorized brush. Let's remove each one and show you and dissect how these are different. Now this is the F6 motorized brush. It's a bit narrower than the one we have in the Dibea. This is the brush from the C17. If you put it side by side with the F6, this one is much bigger. It has a bigger motor inside compared to the F6, and the brush roll of the C17 is actually it's almost the same. The brush roll of the F6 on my left is a bit wider. So let's remove the brush first for the F6. To remove this, you'll need a coin, or you can use your nails to just turn this dial. I'll just use a key to twist this and open it. I'll just show you how different it is to open this, how easy or how hard it is. Now when you turn the key, you just pop this out and it slides off. You'll notice that it has a belt here, and this is the main brush of the F6.
000.
Now let's remove the brush roll of the C17. It's much easier. It's much easier. You just slide this lever to the side and it pops out easy. So in terms of removing the brush roll, the C17 is easier. It's easier on the C17, and if you put this side by side, this is bigger. But in terms of stiffness, both these brushes have the same stiffness. I've recorded separate videos of these two stick vacuums in action. Make sure to check them out in the links below. I'll post links to the reviews of these two products. And one thing you'll notice that the F6's belt is exposed here. You can see the belt, and the one in the F17 is hidden here, so which makes removing it easier. Let me just put this back and show you how easy it is. It's a two-step process. You just slide the brush in and move this back in place to lock it. On the C17, you have to line up the brush with the belt on the side, and after you've done that, you then slide this in here and attach this locking mechanism, locking pin, and turn this dial using a coin or a key to lock it in place. And another difference would be how this head is designed. You notice that the F6 has 4 wheels around this part. This area swivels, this area that swivels. Both of this cleaning heads swivel, while the C17 has 2 big wheels here at the bottom, and it swivels on this area here. You'll see later in the cleaning test how these two will differ in terms of swivel, how it swivels. So this swivels here, and this seems to have more play from side to side compared to the C17, but we'll find out later on. Next, let's look at the extension wands. Both extension wands are roughly the same length. The difference would be the color. This one comes in fuchsia. This one comes in fuchsia. The C17, it comes in fuchsia. This is in purple, the F6. And the F6 has this handle here on top of the extension one. I don't know what this for. Maybe you can hold this like a leaf blower while vacuuming. The C17 does not have such handle. And in terms of attachments, additional tools, the F6 only has this combination crevice and brush tool. When you pull this back, it reveals a crevice tool, and when you pull it forward, it's a brush tool which is somewhat stiff. And this is a pretty long tool. It has good reach, and you can attach it direct over here or at the end of the extension one. So there's a bit of versatility. The F6, the C17 has two tools. It has a crevice tool and this brush tool. This brush tool doesn't have too much length, but this one swivels around. You can turn this around all the way, and if you compare the crevice tool and this combination tool, it's almost the same length. And like the F6, you can attach it here on the wand or over here at the vacuum. And the charging station is also different. The C17 only comes with this wall mountable charger. You cannot plug this direct. You cannot plug this cord directly on the vacuum. While the F6 comes with this plug-in vacuum that you can plug at the end of the vacuum. You'll plug it here, this area, and plug this on the wall. This does not come with a wall mountable vacuum. So here are the two vacuums being charged. The C17 with a wall mountable charger and the F6 with the plug-in charger. To remove this, the C17, just press this lever and it pops out. And let's look at the main vacuum itself, how it differs. Just remove the extension one. See, this is the C17 motor and the F6 motor. The F6 looks bigger than the C17, but this one has more power. Here's a close look at the C17 vacuum minus the extension one. It has a trigger mechanism similar to the Dyson. Actually, both of these have trigger mechanisms. Big difference would be this one has dual power mode. When you press it once, it activates the normal mode. When you press it a second time, it goes into max mode, which eats up more power. So in normal mode, it will run for about 40 minutes. In max mode, that would be cut down to 20 minutes. And if you look at the F6 vacuum, let me just remove this plug. It looks bigger. It looks to have a bigger motor, but the C17 will produce more power. And
Protects more power, Daddy.
And it has also a trigger mechanism that is more visible, but it doesn't have any dual power mode. You press it once The motor turns on, and it's much louder compared to the F6. And when you press it again, the motor turns off. Let's look at the size difference between these two vacuums. This is the F6 and this is the C17. F6 obviously has a bigger base. This is heavier compared to the C17, but interestingly this one has more power compared to this. This is heavier, so when you're gonna clean above the floor areas, this will put a bit more strain on your wrist. Bin design is similar. Both have a trap door here. When you press it, this door opens. Let me just show you how it looks like. It opens up and the dirt drops down on the ground, and you can also remove this bin by pressing this lever. This separates the motor, and there are two latches on both sides, and you can remove the bin like so. This separates, and which makes it easier to clean. And the C17 has that same feature. Press this lever to separate the bin from the motor, but instead of two latches, it has a twist on cap where you pop it out, and the filter comes off like so, and the bottom part also is removable. You just have to, it's just a different design. You just have to pull this out, and this one drops out like so, like this. And if you put it side by side, let's compare the size difference between these two bins, just to give you an idea how different these are. By the way, the F6 filter is located on top in this area. Twist it up and it reveals the filter here, which is pretty nasty. So both of these use the similar type filter, a washable filter and a secondary filter here at the back. And this is not HEPA. This does not have HEPA filtration, so if you have allergies of some sort, you may need to consider a different vacuum like the Dyson, which is more expensive. And this one pops in, and if you look at the size difference between the two, the bins is almost the same. The size of the bins, so roughly the same size. This one is a bit taller. The F6 bin is a bit taller compared to the C17 bin. Now let me just prepare the area for the cleaning test. For this cleaning test, I'll be using roughly the same amount of dirt. On your right is the Dibea C17, and on your left is the F6. I'll be doing a back and forth one-pass cleaning test and see how these two does. Things to look for would be whether or not it snow plows and how much dirt it picks up on that one back and forth pass. So let's start with the F6 on your right. Next up would be the C17. Okay, immediately you'll notice that both of these vacuums snowplowed these large piles of dirt. That's because it's a combination of rolled oats, powder, dust bunnies. Now what I'll do now is I'll just move the camera back a bit and I'll just attack this pile of dirt on different angles, same way you would do in a real life scenario where you don't just go in a back and forth pattern. I'll just try to clean this up in different angles. Again, I'll start with the F6. Okay, now interestingly, the C17 did a slightly better job in terms of picking up what it can pick up. Now what I'll do is I'll just switch over the C17 to what the F6 was cleaning and vice versa and see how it does, see if it will pick up better. Just move the tripod back a bit. Okay, so both of these robots were able, both of these vacuums were able to pick up at least most of the dirt scattered on the floor. I'd say between the two, it's roughly the same, the performance, but I'd slightly favor the C17 because it was a bit better in terms of picking up the large pile of dirt left by the F6. That's what I've observed so far. And if you look at closely at the heads of these two vacuums, and it's almost the same. The height is almost the same, but there's a bit of opening here on the C17. There's a bit of gap here where the dirt can flow through, can pass through. The F6 does not have that gap. I don't see any gap, so maybe that could be a factor why this one did slightly better. So I'll just clean up the rest of this mess and do a quick rug and carpet cleaning test. For the carpet cleaning test, I'll do the same thing. C17 on your right, F6 on the left, one back and forth pass. Here we go. So the C17 did a better job. You'll notice that I had to do the pass longer in the F6 because it was snow plowing till the end. Almost here at the edge, it's snow plowed. So there's the pile of dirt that it pushed forward. And give you a close-up look on both the areas that it cleaned. This is the area that the C17 cleaned. It did a fairly reasonable job. Take note that these vacuums will not deep clean. These are just for surface cleanups. It will clean surface dirt. It will not deep clean. And if you look closely at the C17, there's the F6 side. It did leave more dust on the rug. When you look at this part, it has some visible dust residue. And if you look at the side of the, let's just give you a closer look, there's also a bit of residue of dust, but there's much less. It's less, the trail of dirt, it has less dirt that's left. So the purpose of this test is just to show you how efficient, how fast this machines will clean on a carpet or rug setting. So I'll just do the rest and come back for the closing remarks. So I must say that the C17 is efficient, much more efficient based at least on this surface. It took a few less passes to clean. I'll just show you how it looks like. And it's reasonably clean, but it's not really clean. Surface dirt, most of the surface dirt is in the bin. And the F6 also did a good job, but it took more passes to clean the same, roughly the same amount of dirt. Now let's look at the bin first, the C17 bin. It did a pretty good job keeping all of the dirt at the bottom here. It's I like the design wherein this part here blocks dirt, most of the dirt from going up here on this filter area. Let's look at the F6. F6 is, it was pretty full. This is really full. This bin is pretty full, and some of the dirt seep right through the cyclonic filter area. So it doesn't have the same, it has a opening here. So if I don't know if you can see this opening on the side where dirt can pass through this area. I don't know if they did it by design or what, but I like the C17 design because it keeps most of the dirt below. It's my observation so far. Overall, these two vacuums are really good alternatives to a Dyson. These are really cheap. Both of these cost less than $100 at GearBest, and both of these are also available in Amazon. I'll link in the description below where you can buy these. And again, going back to the accessories, in terms of accessories, I like this combination tool from the F6 better because it's more usable for me. At least for me, I use this inside my vehicle more. This tool has promise, but it's way too short. I like that it pivots all 360 degrees, but it's just way too short for what I need, at least for my needs. And this crevice tool can also be useful, but in my case I don't use it a lot in my home. I use the brush tool more, so that's the compromise you will take. The C17 has better performance on the floor. Above the floor though, I like this better, though this is much louder. And if you have any more questions about these two products, please feel free to comment below. And if you like this video, please share and subscribe.